Hey there, welcome to Total Geek Live. We are back. We are doing a very special edition of this trailer trashing. With me, as always, we have Danny, Kaiser, and Guy. And I'm Baltimore. This episode, we are trailer trashing two sci-fi series that are coming out this fall. The first one will be Star Trek Discovery.
Ooh.
Shall
I don't
we...
know what the.
That's not how the theme is.
I don't know what the theme song is.
Well, shall we discover what the trailer has in store for us?
Yeah,
I'm down for that. Let's do it.
discover it.
Alexander Kirk Prize.
All right, and we are going now.
Space, the final frontier.
Just,
Hey, is that Dr. Smith from the Lost in Space movie?
oh
You
yeah,
know, where
right.
he merged with the spider and he had the big...
Oh, yeah.
Well, so far the ship isn't doing too good.
Well, that's,
Sometimes up is down.
par for Star Trek.
Love her.
Someone doesn't love her. They stuck her in a box.
You don't put Soniqua in a box.
Nobody sticks Captain in a box.
Okay, well, that was a cool shot, but why carve your insignia on a planet like you're Daredevil or something?
Let people know you're there.
Because they're Star Trek.
Because they're aliens. You can't think. You're a human. You can't think like an alien.
Mm-hmm.
Oh snap!
Now,
She's
visually,
a pot dispensary.
It looked like a lot of weed.
Yeah, right?
that's
Space weed.
that's the currency in space.
So they're opening up like Cirque du Soleil.
That's how they That's how they get their discovery going on, huh?
Right?
Uh,
Whoa, what's that?
I hate all this sand. It gets everywhere. Well, that one crew member was in timeout, pouting on their bed.
well, you know how it is.
I mean, visually, this looks like a trailer for a new movie. I mean,
Right.
Well, pilot episodes often do.
yeah. I am a chick in a box.
Yeah, so they stick her in there with Loki.
Yeah.
That trickster.
War. War never changes.
Oh, he wasn't saying that to me. Sorry.
Personally, man, every time they show Michelle Yeoh, I just get tingles.
You
Go,
should
yow!
about that.
And Michelle Yeoh, she's basically a female Jackie Chan.
Yeah, right.
And she can go toe to toe with him. She has in a
Yeah,
number
she
of
has.
movies.
Yep.
All right, them some
Oh.
trailers.
That was Discovery.
We discovered
Yep.
the Discovery.
We have
But
discovered
what
the
did we
Discovery.
discover? It's the real question.
We have discovered that that's CBS's sci-fi show that's coming out in the fall,
That's right.
and now Fox has something.
They do, but let's are we gonna talk about Discovery a little bit more before we jump into
Yeah.
Orville?
Sure.
Let's
Alright.
cover a few plot points on that. This is set 10 years before Kirk's crew.
Right.
So, and this is set, okay, it's set 10 years before Kirk's crew, and it's set in the Prime universe, not the J.J. Abrams alternate timeline, which is still part of the continuity, but that's a whole complex thing. We won't get into that.
Right.
So this
Thank
is
you.
the Prime universe. Damn, that's awful high tech for something before, just a decade before Kirk and Spock.
Right.
Don't look too closely into things.
Well, that was the same problem with the Star Wars prequels. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, this is all shiny. Well, I guess they explain. We won't even get into that discussion. But visually, it had the kind of the same thing. It's like, wow, this is all like high tech when it's supposed to be way
Yeah.
before. So,
Yeah, but their weapons look a lot more modern or futuristic than what, Kirk and Spock that
Yeah.
dealt with, and the tricorder and, everything. Yeah,
but
I
well,
mean, you could do period pieces. Why couldn't they try to do period pieces of sci-fi?
Yeah, but
kind of thing?
when you compare it to what else is coming out, you still have to keep up with it. Otherwise, the audience is going to just
laugh at it. It's like, oh god,
Yeah.
that's hokey.
Yeah. Well, then
But-
don't make it happen 10 years before Kirk. Make it happen later.
Like after Voyager.
Yes.
During
because-
Voyager.
There's a whole thing about that because there's Next Generation, there's Deep Space Nine, and then there's Voyager, and they were all within their own little self-contained universe, set very directly and very clearly after the original series, and even like between the original series and Next Gen gap, there were the movies which kind of modernized some elements, and then there's Enterprise, which they tried to establish some of the things that you would eventually see. It was a little messy in some areas, but at least it seems like it kind of fit. And there's just the whole issue. I mean, yeah, you can go into this whole world trying to think about it too much and keep it modern for audiences, but Star Trek's been around for 50 years. The only other show that's had the luxury of that is Doctor Who, and they still try to make sense of everything within that. I mean, it's a big messy thing as well sometimes, but it's like it's going to be very hard continuity-wise to explain that and rationalize that, and that's one of the big issues. And then again, I won't go off on a huge tangent, but the captain is Spock's adoptive sister, like Nimoy Spock.
Like
Right.
real life adopted sister, or in the show
Yeah,
adopted sister?
His Spock's father, Sarek, and his wife at the time,
Okay.
Amanda, had this adopted human daughter, and this is never mentioned. And I guess you can kind of excuse it here and there, off in some things, because Star Trek V introduced Spock's half brother and everything else. But that's a big jump there for me.
Right.
More so than the whole, oh, damn, we look super new right now. But that's my thought on it.
Interesting, yeah.
Well, speaking of other super new things, also hitting this September, also very Star Trek-y, and I've even heard some, people saying even maybe more so than Discovery, is Fox's new show, The Orville. So,
Redenbacher?
Right.
yes, the Redenbacher.
The Redenbacher of space.
And his grandson Gary is first officer.
So we're gonna watch that trailer now, and then we'll talk a little bit about that, and then we'll see how the peanut butter and jelly will mesh.
Okay.
So I'm pulling up the trailer now, and now.
Ed, have a seat. I have good news. There's a ship available. The USA.
Ah,
So the captain of the Titanic is the head of this world.
Right.
that tracks.
Yep.
That bodes well.
Yeah.
Can I have one of these mints? Those are marbles.
John Favreau. What a score for a director for your pilot episode.
No kidding.
But also one that you're
Yep.
serving on. Lieutenant Commander Bordas, your entire species is male, isn't it?
That is correct, sir.
Probably not a lot of arguments about leaving the toilet seat up and that kind of thing, right?
Bucklands urinate only once per year.
Really? That's, I mean, I'm up to 3 times a night.
That is unfortunate.
I love that reaction. He just kind of. It is.
Holy crap!
Ah,
Your family is harmed.
Julie!
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 Oh,
Hey!
we know her.
Message coming in from Admiral Halsey. It says that an executive officer has become available.
No.
No.
No. Oh, crap. Sorry, man. You okay? Yeah, it's okay. Oh, sorry. No worries. The captain does
Don't
not
kick the
appear to be
flan.
pleased to be arriving at this first officer. They were
Don't kick the
You
flan?
know how many times I tried to talk to you, but you weren't here. I was the one who suggested couples things.
The therapist was your brother-in-law.
Oh, man.
Fun trip for all of us.
Perhaps we should not be talking about this.
Oh, no. We're talking about this. This is a thing.
This is a thing.
Applies to the science station on its long tube.
You know, kudos on them coming up with a unique ship design after, 80,000 sci-fi shows.
So, it's an anti-banana ray.
We need no longer fear the banana.
Does it work on all fruit?
What about
You do
I
realize
love
it
the
says that.
Adrienne Palicki.
Lucky.
Yeah, Palicki. I loved her on Shields.
Entering orbit.
Yeah, I guess she's not coming back.
Well, she couldn't. They had that whole scene. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Return fire.
Give me the device. I will destroy.
Hmm.
Sorry, can you move like 2 steps to your right? There's just a lot of dead space there. Just perfect. Yeah, sorry.
I feel like I should be a part of this crew.
Right?
These are my people.
Want to make a good impression.
It's 9:15 in the morning.
Sorry.
So
There
there we
we
go, the
Alright.
Orville. Now, I noticed we weren't talking as much during that and actually watching and listening and for the jokes,
Right.
which I've seen the trailer a number of times and
Mm.
prepping for this and just before. And outside of the marble spitting scene, that's kind of a throwaway joke for me,
Mm-hmm.
there's some actual funny content in there, and they're
Yeah.
just. But will that hold up for an hour? Because this is going to be an hour.
Oh, this is an hour long?
Yeah, it's an hour-long series. Well, I
Wow.
mean, each episode's an hour, not the
Yeah, okay.
entire series.
Oh, man.
Yes,
Ooh,
yeah.
I thought it was only going to be half hour.
No, it's a
Wow.
full hour, so that'll. On one hand, okay, we'll get to explore the characters more, a little bit more character and plot development in each episode. But-
Yeah.
But will the comedy get thin by the end of that hour?
Right.
That type of comedy.
I think it is going to be challenging, but I think Seth MacFarlane has a pretty good history of being able to maintain, even though some jokes get pretty thin. I think he can kind of maintain it, but they have to be smart about it and use the humor, sparingly to accent the drama and the the
Right.
plot and stories.
Right.
Which, as if anything's testament to that, I mean, look at the success of Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. The time is ripe for sci-fi comedy right now.
Absolutely, you got to get on that.
Right.
Right.
And apparently, McFarlane's had been germinating this idea for a long time, and he's like, okay, well, now's the time to strike.
Yeah.
Firefly, another Fox show. Hopefully, this won't go the way of Firefly.
But I didn't think about that.
Yeah, the one and done.
Bye, Orville. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's over.
But you'll have a dedicated fan base for years to come.
That's right. That's right.
They'll cancel the series mid-episode.
Just
8 minutes, and it's done. Thanks, Fox.
it'll cut to a rerun of Firefly.
You remember what happened the last 4 minutes ago? It'll be a clip
Jeez.
show in the first episode because they just fired everybody. But it does feel very similar to Galaxy Quest. And
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so.
And I
Does.
think we all remember Galaxy Quest finally. I don't think I've ever met anyone who didn't like Galaxy Quest.
I grab Thor's hammer. I will avenge thee.
There
right.
you go.
I still remember the theater I saw Galaxy Quest in.
Oh, really?
Yep,
it-
it's
was-
not there anymore, but I remember.
did you
I
do
remember
to
the
it?
theater.
We can't talk about it.
Monster.
Well, we can't talk about that. It was a tragic accident.
Yeah.
But this I'm excited for this. The trailer's really good. I'm worried that it is hour-long episodes, and I'm not that big of a Seth MacFarlane fan. I loved the
Yeah.
first, I think I liked the first maybe 1 or 2 seasons of Family Guy, and then I trailed off.
Yeah.
I stopped watching, and the same went for American Dad. And I tried watching some of his other movies, that Wild Wild West one.
Right. So he has a thing for genre pieces, like what Million Ways to Die in the West. So what would you say there, Baltimore?
I said that was almost unwatchable.
Yeah. See, I hadn't watched it yet.
Do yourself a favor and don't watch it.
Well, I mean, I know people that loved it.
Really?
And I know people that love his humor and will just watch anything that he and love everything that he does.
Well, I liked
all
Ted.
gold and all that.
Yeah, I like Ted.
See,
I haven't seen
I
Ted
wasn't
2.
really on. I wasn't really
don't see
on.
Ted 2.
Don't see Ted 2?
I didn't care for Ted either. You know, I don't know. It's just, I guess I'm not his target audience or
I
whatever.
don't go to any TED Talks.
Now I like the TED Talks, but that's not McFarlane stuff.
Wait, is that something else? I just associate.
Yeah, that's more.
everything.
TED Talks are more cerebral and actually require thought. Yeah.
So
I like Seth MacFarlane as a creator. I think he's very interesting and talented and really, really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like him. I don't care to see him as an actor. I don't think he is that interesting to watch. It's one of those things that I have a lot of problems with a lot of comedic actors is I can see when I'm watching it, I can see that they're almost about to laugh and then they change to the next, angle or something like that so they can cover the laugh. It's like, I don't believe you because you're not really committing to it. They're just getting there for the laugh.
Now, did you feel that?
They're not in character or whatever.
But did you
All
feel
the
that
time with
way?
Seth.
Did you feel that way during this trailer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I still like Family Guy. I mean, but Family Guy is very much a collection of moments. If you look, maybe not episodes like super strong, but there's always one little random moment, little reference that I'll always kind of chuckle at. I never got into American Dad, and I never got into the Cleveland Show.
God, totally forgot about that one.
Yeah, he might be good with space. I mean, he was a very passionately trying to advocate to bring back Cosmos again, that series, and he's one of the creative minds behind that, and that was a great thing. I mean, it's obviously not humorous, but it's super well done.
Right.
And the Family Guy Star Wars episodes are actually some of his better
clever
work. Yeah.
Yeah, they're clever, and it's one of those things. He's good at moments, and he can always tell like a good sustain. I mean, all those jokes I think overall pretty much landed. He's very good at like observational, smart ass humor, and that resonates with me. But yeah, it's like sometimes Family Guy, it can be very funny at one moment, and then it's just like sometimes they can drag that joke out, and it keeps going. Yeah. It's like, all right, guys, you got to stop. And
right, beating a dead horse.
Right.
Yeah.
But this show has some, with Jon Favreau in the director's seat, he's pulling some reins, even though McFarlane's creator and, lead on the show. You listen to Favreau when he's directing you.
Oh, yeah.
So, and another pedigreed director I saw that's coming to do an episode is Jonathan Frakes, number 1 from Star Trek, Next Generation, Riker, who went on. He directed some really good episodes. He directed First Contact.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's an established director and brings his pedigree of Star Trek with him to the show. So I'm excited. And as you heard us yelling out Julie during it, a good friend of ours that we graduated with, Julie Mitchell, who's been in a number of things and a lot of commercials. Is in episode 2. She's the mother. She's in that like hillbilly space family.
Yeah, her husband gets shot evidently.
Right. Except for killing your father, we come.
Not casting at all.
Right. Let's cast as a Texas girl
Yeah.
Which is So I guess when we play like the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, we could use Julie
as the link. Yeah.
Because 3 of us have been on stage with her. Because we all did Devil and Daniel Webster together.
Right.
That's true.
So.
Guess who's the odd man out?
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope her character got some sort of space bereavement package. I'm sure they have those in the far off future.
Right.
I'm sure.
They should, yeah.
A bag of
definitely.
Red Bacher.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
you know, probably Gary delivers it. He's not as busy these days.
right. Well, it'd be
Yeah.
like his great 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 grandson at this point in time.
I'm not a genealogist, so I don't know.
Yeah, neither do I.
I
So
am.
anyway, so then the big thing is, okay, we got two, for better terms, Star Trek shows, because one's very Star Trek and the other one has the name Star Trek. And they're both hitting in September.
Yep.
10th, I believe, for Orville, and 24th for
Yep.
Discovery.
24. Yeah.
So that does give Orville, a week and some odd 2 weeks heads up. Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't know, if you had to say, Guy, if you only could watch one, which would you choose?
This is very hard for me to say, but I'm going to just, I love Star Trek. I've watched so many episodes of all the series and of all the movies and everything else. You know what? I gotta say it. I'm just gonna watch the Orville. This just doesn't seem Star Trek enough, other than name and a few recognizable elements. And that just, much as it pains me, I will eventually give Star Trek a chance, but it's not like grabbing me like I feel it should. Yeah. And how about you, John?
Oh, me? Oh, I thought you were going to kick it over to the other guys because I've been talking. Me? I kind of I think Orville. The Orville for me. I haven't been following Discovery at all. Nothing about it has really I actually kind of forgot it was even coming out till we were talking about doing these episodes. Yet with the Orville, I've seen all the trailers and kind of watched some of the Comic-Con panel discussions and stuff, and kind of somewhat been following it. So for me, if I had to choose, I mean, hands down, the Orville.
Okay,
Danny.
I'm on the fence with both of them. I really don't know. What I'm looking at is like I'm looking at evaluating in September. What are all the TV shows that I'm already watching and stuff, and saying, okay, well then, do I have enough to fit even one or two in here? Wedge them in, and then it may just be because I'm really not sure about either one of them, because I'm not a big McFarlane fan, and like I'm with Guy on this Star Trek. This Star Trek doesn't feel Star Trek to me. It feels so out of place with the timeline that they're trying to fit it in. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch. I'll watch the pilot for each one of them, and then I'll go from there. But I mean, I may not either end up watching either of them.
But based on the trailers that we just watched,
hey, you have to choose.
Man,
you could choose neither. You could choose neither. You could just choose to sit and stare at a wall if you'd like.
Don't do that.
Oh man, can I just watch The Tick again? Well, okay.
No, that's your answer. No, neither.
It's
Orville, The Tick. Okay.
Yeah, it's The Tick.
Wow.
All right, Baltimore. So that leaves you.
So I would absolutely put Star Trek Discovery over the Orville for me.
Okay.
Without a doubt. I, in all fairness, have never seen a full series of any of the Star Trek series, but this one seems more interesting to me. And yes, I get the continuity questions and stuff like that, but since I haven't seen all of that, it doesn't bother me as much.
Yeah.
While I understand it, and I can get it from someone who's enjoyed the series much more on a deeply personal fan level, I get it. But for me, I really like that the cast is diverse, and not just racially or with gender. There's gay characters in this, so that kind of like peaks to me, and I think that I would give that a shot over the Orville.
All right.
Well, I was going to say the hard part of the decision for me, you're talking about the cast, is not supporting Michelle Yeoh on
man.
on an American TV show. That does make me feel a bit traitorous.
Yeah, man. I mean, she gave you Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
That's right.
She showed up to my house and said here, and then she like backflipped and floated away.
And she did that little. Yep.
Just for you. Just for you.
Just for you.
And look how you repay her.
By watching her competition?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Star Trek has a message of optimism and hope, and I just don't see it in that trailer. And I think that's the biggest thing for me. At least Orville looks positive, and I'm down for that reason.
Yeah.
So.
Right on.
I guess we figured out who we're giving our cash and who we're giving our trash to.
Right, who we're turning on and who we're turning off. So, also let us know in the comments or on any of the social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Total Geek Live, what you think, and also let us know if you liked us kind of taking two series that are going head to head and kind of doing that in these trailer trashing episodes.
Oh yeah.
So let us know. But
I was gonna say, blah.
You're gonna say blah?
I was gonna say blah. That's my message. So I was keeping score. So it's Orville, Star Trek, The Tick, and special runner-up Mr. Belvedere. So
yes.
So far, the Streets on the China.
That sounds accurate.
All right. Well, thanks again for tuning in. It's all geek to us. Bye.
See ya.
Bye, everybody. Oh, yes. Well played.
Oh.
Spots on the China. Never matter if
Countdown, and then countdown, and then we give you a beat like
This
that.
is TGL, and we're here to say we're doing trailer trashing like every day.
Yeah.
We got good ones and bad ones and okay ones too. TGL crew gonna tell it to you. So
Are you Legend of Zelda rap? After Rock's Levers and Tech Tights 2. Wiki, wiki, wiki. Woo, woo, woo.